Joining me now is founder and president of Article 3 Project, Mike Davis, and former federal prosecutor Doug Burns. Welcome to you both. Doug, I want to begin with you. According to reports, in a shocking violation of attorney-client privilege, the corrupt Department of Injustice used secret arguments that the defense wasn't allowed to see or appeal. That now that we've seen them, now that they've been able to see them, we all know the DOJ was way out of bounds in doing this. But it seems the rules don't apply when it's get Trump at all costs. Trump's team is reportedly preparing to file a motion to dismiss based on this. Is there any reason why a credible judge like Amy Coney shouldn't throw out this case on its face?
I think she'll take a very good, hard look at it, and I think it's a fairly compelling argument. You're absolutely right. The DOJ and the FBI, it's amazing. And we're for 9 years.
It is absolutely
They tried
amazing.
out the same things over and over again. And the point is, what they tried out
sorry,
here
we got a little bit of a delay
fraud.
here. I'm sorry about that, man. Go ahead, continue.
No, that's okay. They tried out the term crime fraud exception. And in real crime, not this type of stuff, which is political weaponization stuff, but in real crime, if a lawyer is told or asked, delivered a bag with $200,000 to the guy, this and that, that's a crime fraud exception, and the attorney-client privilege can be invaded. But that's so beyond weak here, Chris. So to answer your question, the judge will take a really good hard look at that, as well as selective prosecution, very important, and as well as using the wrong law. The president was right. He gave a pretty good legal seminar, quite honestly. It's the Presidential Records Act, which is a civil statute. That controls this, not the Espionage Act.
Well, and by the way, that exception that you were outlining, it sounds an awful lot like what may be on these rumored tapes of Joe Biden. We'll get to that in a minute. Yep. Mike, DOJ is charging Trump with violations of the Espionage Act. Former House Intelligence Chairman Congressman Devin Nunes put this into perspective yesterday on my radio show. Listen.
And now you have this crazy indictment about supposedly classified documents, Chris, but I've been making the point, when you actually read the fine print of the indictment, even though it says classified documents, 100 times, this is not about classified documents at all.
No, it isn't.
So they're massaging the law, and they're making up a new invention called national defense information in order to target the leading presidential candidate right now. I mean, you just almost can't make it up.
Yeah, Mike, so what do you make of this, that they're not using the law that governs the mishandling of classified information, but they're saying it's a classified information violation? What do you make of all this?
Well, it's what we've been saying since August, since this bogus raid, this illegal political raid, green-lighted by Biden, and they went to a biased magistrate judge to get back presidential records that President Trump was allowed to have under the Presidential Records Act in the office of the former president. That's why Congress gives them Secret Service protection, secure office space, federally funded staff with security clearances in the office of former president. These were secure. Trump declassified these documents, but even if he did not declassify these documents, he's allowed to have them under the Presidential Records Act. And notice that they're not charging him with using this national defense information to hurt America like Joe Biden did when he secured millions from Ukraine and China, or Hillary Clinton did with her illegal pay-for-play foreign bribery schemes as Secretary of State for the Clinton Foundation. The mere fact that Trump just retained his presidential records is not espionage, and they're trying to put him in jail for the rest of his life. They want President Biden's chief political opponent and a former president to die in prison over a fight with librarians at the National Archives.
Doug, let's have a discussion about what the current occupier of the Oval Office has been up to, which the press is ignoring. A Burisma executive claims he has 17 audio recordings, we're told, of his interviews with, or his interactions, I should say, with the Bidens. Further evidence of the bribery scheme. Here's how Joe Biden responded when he was confronted by one brave member of the press. Watch.
Are there tapes that you accepted bribes, President Biden? Is that true?
Would you comment on the arrest of the former president, sir?
So the FBI refusing to cooperate with the Senate and the House Republicans, flatly telling Senator Cruz yesterday the FBI will not discuss these tapes, but Senator Blackburn seemingly getting Deputy Director Abadi to admit that the FBI redacted the fact that these tapes exist on that unclassified FD-1023. How would you evaluate FBI's conduct in the criminal accusations against Joe Biden?
Since 2017, the FBI has had damning evidence that then Vice President Joe Biden took a $10 million foreign bribe, Joe and Hunter 5 each, and they changed American policy. Vice President Joe Biden got Ukraine's president to fire the Ukrainian prosecutor who was investigating Burisma. This is clear bribery, clear foreign corruption. They have whistleblower evidence. They have 17 tapes, and the FBI has covered this up. They cannot claim that they are protecting sources and methods, or this is an ongoing investigation. This is an ongoing cover-up by the FBI.
And Doug, your shot is a little iffy here, but I'm hoping we can hear your response because I want to get you to respond to this. These FD-1023s are unclassified. The confidential human source can be redacted to protect sources and methods. But the American people should be able to see these documents and determine the accusations for themselves against Joe Biden. Can we credibly accuse the FBI of mishandling unclassified information, Doug?
Absolutely. And, Mike is making a good point, amplifying what I was saying, which is they trot out stuff like, we don't want to compromise an ongoing investigation. I've heard that a zillion times in courtrooms. The judges almost always back that up. We don't want to compromise our source. But boy, they got right in the guy's grill, and it's crystal clear that they are dodging and tap dancing and evading. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. When, as and if the so-called mainstream media decides to report this as the journalists that they're supposed to be, then and only then will we find out that this is really, really, really serious. And the double standards and the hypocrisy are A, breathtaking, but B, perhaps more importantly, starting to be understood by the average person walking down the street, guys.
Yep. Well, there are very few journalists left in these United States. Most of the people in the press are dedicated Democrats before they're dedicated journalists. Mike Davis, Doug Burns. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate the evaluation.